In brief moments, we mark our beginning. In compassion, we find freedom. Welcome to your ledger, where you author your story. Episode 20 of The Quiet Ledger, The Blueprint. Please remember that the TQL series offers gentle guidance and metaphorical frameworks for financial wellness. This is not professional financial, legal, or therapeutic advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making specific financial decisions. Welcome, I am Teach, the architect. Last time we entered the quiet room and practiced bringing calm presence to conversations with others. Today, we move to the drafting table, turning our attention to the conversations we have with ourselves about where we are going. The architect works at the place where vision meets structure, where the future imagined becomes the future design. Many of us carry a life that lives at one of two distances: the dream that stays a dream, beautiful and distant, with no path connecting it to the present, or the practical heads-down daily tending that keeps everything moving but has lost sight of what it is moving toward. The architect understands both. The drafting table is the place where both become useful to each other. The blueprint is what emerges when the dream and the structure are given the same surface to work on. Let us anchor ourselves in the now. Breathe in deeply, gathering the stillness, and breathe out, releasing tension in your jaw and shoulders. One more, inviting calm focus, and out, settling the mind into peace. You are perfectly safe here. The drafting table. It offers both the blank page and the tools to mark it, the vision and the means of making it real. Consider what becomes possible when a dream is given a surface to land on. The life imagined in vivid detail finds its first concrete shape. The direction that has lived in the background steps forward into a plan. The architect understands the sequence the drafting table makes available. Think. Name what you are actually building and why it matters. Plan. Put the first line on the page. One concrete step toward the vision. Move. Take the step the plan is pointing toward. Check. See what the movement revealed and what it is asking for next. Adjust. Bring the drawing closer to what you are actually building toward. Then return to the beginning of the cycle. The drafting table was built for this returning, for those carrying more than one set of expectations and possibilities. The gap between vision and plan can feel wide. The architect understands this. The blueprint asks only for the first line and trusts the cycle to carry the rest forward. The blueprint is a living drawing. Everything the cycle produces begins with that first line on the page. The architect also understands that each pass through the cycle builds the capacity for the next one. The drafting table is patient. It receives every return. A steady insight opens our time with the blueprint, offered by a West African proverb whose understanding of speed and distance has shaped how communities approach what they most want to build. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The architect meets this insight with recognition. This is the question at the center of the blueprint. A single priority, a single goal, a single platform moves fast. Dedicated focus and a single adjusted thought is the advantage of the solo path. In a more complex environment, where multiple plans and multiple lives are moving together, the pace slows because something larger is being built. Consensus takes time. Merging two sets of priorities into a single path forward requires effort, and that effort is what the distance is built from. Alone, movement has speed. The proverb asks a different question. How far do you want to go? The destinations that carry meaning beyond a single season, the ones that provide steadiness across years, are built for distance. And distance, the proverb tells us, is built together. In the practice of creating clear plans for shared goals, this is the quality the architect brings. The blueprint exists because some goals are too far and too meaningful to carry as a solo endeavor. The architect fathoms that what is built together reaches further than what any single builder could carry to completion alone. The plan made with honest shared intention is the one that stays the course across the full distance of the journey. Speed gets you somewhere quickly. Shared intention gets you somewhere that actually matters. Our first anchor is orientation. Some discover they live primarily at one end of a particular range, either imagining futures with few steps toward them or moving through the practical with little connection to larger purpose. You might bring attention to the balance between dreaming and practical planning in your current approach. Many of us settle at one end and build a kind of fluency there. The blueprint asks for both vision and steps. Each one on its own leaves something out. When you acknowledge your natural tendency with openness, you create the possibility of integration. Which side of the table do you naturally sit at, the dreaming end or the planning end? The architect asks you to see your natural tendency clearly and to consider what the other end of the table might offer. Our second anchor is action. I invite you to consider sketching one simple bridge between where you are now and one meaningful goal. It might take the form of writing out the steps between your current reality and where you want to be, making what felt abstract visible on a page. It might take the form of identifying one small improvement to your current situation, something that moves you one step closer to your vision. It might take the form of simply naming both, where you stand and what you are moving toward, honoring both with equal clarity and keeping them side by side. The architect asks for one line drawn on the page that connects where you stand to where you want to go. You might discover that when you translate vision into simple steps, the goal becomes real. The drawing gives it shape, shape gives it direction, and direction is where movement becomes possible. Even one line drawn with intention is more than was there before. Our third anchor is reframing. When we observe how plans actually move through time, we see something worth trusting, a plan that holds its purpose, while remaining open to adjustment. Asks something really useful of us. Gentle planning honors both your aims and your practical wisdom. The architect knows that a blueprint is a guide. When conditions change, the skilled planner adjusts the structure while holding the vision. An adjustment is information worth using. It tells you something real about the ground you are building on. When we recognize that flexibility within a plan is a sign of intelligence, the act of revising becomes part of the practice. The plan grows with the life it is serving. We are cultivating the practice of planning with both clarity and openness, honoring the purpose while allowing the path to remain responsive to what the life being built actually requires. Consider the nature of the drafting table itself, how it receives both the blank space and the work in progress. A plan begins this way. Before the first mark, there is a surface, ready and waiting, patient, settled. The surface of the drafting table smooth and ready. The tools at hand, the blank space, holding every possibility. Before the first mark, the table knowing its purpose, faithful. Notice the space between the vision and the first line drawn. That brief pause where possibility becomes intention. Something settles. When a plan takes shape, the distance ahead becomes a path, steady, yours. The plan taking its first shape in the space between intention and action. The vision becoming specific, the specific becoming possible, the possible becoming the next step. Consider the nature of a plan taking shape. How each mark makes the next one clearer. What felt like distance becomes direction, one line at a time. This is what it means to create clear plans for your goals. The plan growing clearer with each mark made, each line informing the next, the blueprint becoming the life it was drawn to serve. What moves through you moves outward. As we return to our shared space, the blueprint invites a gentle shift in how we hold our future plans alongside our present choices. This week, consider one goal that lives more in the dream space than the planning space. or one that lives more in the practical than the purposeful, and bring it toward one concrete step you could name. Perhaps there is room to place one line on the page, a single connection made between the vision and the present moment. Perhaps that is all the practice asks for this week. The architect knows that the plan becomes real one mark at a time, and that the bridge between dreaming and doing is built from exactly the kind of small, honest step this week is asking for. Thank you for being here, for being willing to hold both the dream and the drawing at once, and to consider that the bridge between them is built from exactly the kind of step this week is asking for. In the coming days, you might find yourself noticing which end of the table you are sitting at, recognizing a vision that has been waiting for its first line on the page, or a practical habit waiting to be connected to something larger. Perhaps discovering that the mark placed today makes the next one possible. Perhaps you will find that the blueprint was growing all along, one honest step at a time. I am Teach, the architect. Thank you for returning to this ledger. May you carry into all that comes next the vision that only you can design, and the practical wisdom to build it one mark at a time until we meet again. Next time on your journey in the series, we will explore the energy exchange, understanding the true worth of what we bring to every transaction.